Well, good morning, Kelowna and Victoria. We're here again on a Saturday morning with The Garden Show. Ken Salvail and Don Burnett here. So nice to be here in the studio, Ken. A couple of weeks now I've been traveling around and doing a thing. Had a great time last week at the Canuck game, and they actually won on the Sunday night. Sunday afternoon. Just for you. What a fun thing to see an actual hockey game live. However, next time I go, I'm going to take my radio with me. My ear,
so you can get the play-by-play.
Yeah, I can't see the darn guys. I don't know who did what. They were just a bunch of players down there like ants running around. You know, because we were up in the nosebleed section. But anyway, it was fun and action, and it was they put on a big show.
I find that just the first time I went to an NHL game, I just felt it was too short. I just was just getting into it, and it was over. And I'm going like, oh man, that's just way too short.
Yeah.
You know, but anyway.
I thought it might be a short one after they got scored on again. But anyway, that's okay. The Canucks are doing okay. They're hanging in there. I just think they better put another gear in there somewhere, overdrive or something. Yeah,
they're just relaxing. They don't want to. They don't want to burn all their energy up here before the playoffs. So.
Well, this is show number 1942. May 24th, 2025 is going to mark our 2000th show on the air. Kind of exciting. Anyway, let's get at her because we're going to do the tips and plants of the week.
You betcha.
My tip of the week is, when laying out a bed in the yard, I like to use a simple formula. A bed needs a strong focal point, not 2 or 3 big strong focal points, but one good strong guy. I live here. And then we need 3 plants, all of the same kind, and I call those the visitors. And then we finish with an assortment of lesser plants for texture and color I call the kids.
Yeah, there you go.
I use that just about every time I lay out a bed. Anyway, that's my formula. My plant of the week is the Pseudorhipsalis ramulosa. It's a brand new plant to me. I got it from Brian Minter.
Yeah.
Fabulous plant. I'll read about it. There's a long epistle here.
A mistletoe.
It's called a mistletoe cactus, and it's basically like an orchid cactus.
Right.
I don't know what the actual bloom looks like, but it has this little white berry, and that's why it's called a mistletoe cactus.
There you go.
Yeah.
Very nice. So I also have a tip and a plant, and my tip of the week is that, this is the time of year when we put on our early lawn fertilizers, and, as soon as your irrigation's up and running, you can put your fertilizer down and get it watered in. Just remember that typically we use quick-release fertilizers in the springtime when temperatures are cool and the lawn is very hungry. And then when it gets into the warmer seasons, we use slow-release fertilizers. So that's the typical program for lawns. And, so this is the time to do that. My plant of the week this week is the muscari, the grape hyacinth, which is one of my favorite plants, and I've got several plantings, and every year they just get bigger and bigger and bigger, and they spread, and I just love it when they spread around. The more the merrier. Gotta love those grape hyacinths. They are so pretty at this time of year. Mine are in full bloom right now, and enjoying that thoroughly. So that's my tips and plants for this week. Remember to check growercoach.com and Grower Coach on YouTube.
Right on, Ken. And that grape hyacinth is something else. When we were at the gardens in Holland a couple of years ago, they had this river of grape hyacinths.
Oh,
it was this long, beautiful, meandering river of grape hyacinths. I tell you,
so beautiful.
It was beautiful. So my plant of the week. Let's just expand a little bit on this because it's exciting.
Yeah,
I was in at Brian Minter's on the way home from Vancouver, and we always stop in to say hello. And he always takes me for a walk around the back because the back is always where he's got these cool things, right?
Yeah.
So we went into the back, one of the back greenhouses, and I noticed this plant hanging there, about 3 or 4 of them, large hanging basket ones, and they look kind of like a orchid cactus, but they had this real red foliage and these little white balls on
berries.
Them. Berries, yeah. I said, what the heck's that? And he couldn't remember the name of it, but I took one home, and I've looked it up, and I know exactly what it is. It's a red mistletoe cactus. It's Pseudorhipsalis ramusula. Thrives as an epiphyte within the lush tropical rainforests of Central and South America. Its distinctive flat ribbon-like stems cascade elegantly, exhibiting a rich crimson hue when generously bathed in sunlight.
Oh.
The stems, adorned with greenish-white blossoms along their perimeters, give way to petite little mistletoe-like fruits, thus the name mistletoe cactus. Nice. Differing from arid desert counterparts, this tropical cactus favors heightened humidity and a touch more hydration. While partial shade is preferred, basking in additional sunlight will intensify the crimson hue. Pseudorhipsalis ramusula is best grown in a hanging basket or mounted in a tree.
So it's pendulous.
Yeah.
It's going to hang down.
We're not going to mount ours in a tree because it'll freeze in the winter.
Yeah.
But no, it's a cool thing. And Brian was saying, he says, we tried this. People don't get excited about different plants. They want the run of the mill stuff. And so anyway,
that's true. Yep. Those are the things that sell, are just the sort of run of the mill type plants. But it's for people who are gardeners and like the unusual stuff. It's always nice to find a little gem like that and bring it home and give it a try. It's fun with the orchid cactus group because they bloom at kind of oddball times. You never quite really know when they're going to bloom. And I must have, I think, about eight different species now, and they're all different, and they're totally have their mind of their own, and you just never know what's going to happen. But the funnest one is the oxypetalum, Epiphyllum oxypetalum, which is the, I guess the common name is, what is the common name? Queen of the Night.
Queen of the Night, yeah.
Yeah, and it gets those huge white flowers that bloom at night. And but that thing grows. So I've got this one cutting in a 2-gallon pot, and I just watch it, and I can literally see it growing like an inch or two every day. Yeah. It just grows, and then it stops growing. And then when it stops growing, I give it water. So I give it a good soak of water, and away it goes again. And it shoots up about 6 inches, and then it stops. And then I give it another shot of water, and it shoots up another foot. These things just really grow. They grow fast. And so it's fun to have plants that respond. That's what I kind of like that. I like plants that do something when you water them.
Ken, I'm at a moment here where I need a 5 or 6 year old guy or gal to come and help me with my phone. I've been getting a text that's who's on the line right now, and I've got a whole lockdown on my phone, so I can't even read it. But what I'm going to do is say, good morning. You're on the show. You're on the Garden Show.
Good morning. Hello, are you there, caller?
Are you talking to me?
I'm talking to you because I don't have your name. My phone won't accept messages right now, so I got to get that fixed. I need a 5-year-old to fix it.
No, my name is Lily, and I phoned in.
Yes.
Yes.
Nice to talk to you. You're on the air.
Oh, thank you. You guys are wonderful. Yeah. Anyway, I have a bunch of tulips that came up like 2 years in a row. I planted them, and this year most of them are dots, no blossoms. What could have happened?
Well, with all bulbs that are spring blooming, what they're going to do is they're going to be dormant through the summertime and in through the fall, and then in the springtime they shoot up and they generally bloom first, and then they'll just perform very nicely, and then after that, sometimes people will deadhead them, but not really necessary. But you have to grow the leaves on for typically about a month or so after they flower. So the longer you keep them growing, typically the better the bloom will be next year. So that just tells you that the leaves are storing that bulb for next year so that you get a good bloom. But however, even if it does have success in that situation, and say that's what you did and you've got lots of leaves and they were happy and healthy, there can be things that can interrupt their growth pattern, and it's often things like sometimes a grub that's in the soil, because they have these juicy bulbs underground, and some little insects and things like to gnaw on the roots or sometimes chew on the bulbs. There's also a possibility that if there's not enough drainage, like if you plant them in areas that might be a bit on the clay side and they're sitting where there's not drainage, like they prefer kind of sandy soils or loamy soils, and they're much happier in those conditions. And I found when I planted tulips in clay, or sort of a clay base, it wasn't draining very well. And the first year they were good. Second year they were okay. Third year they quit blooming, and I couldn't really get them back.
I think that's happening here because Glenmore and it's snow and it is clay. The soil is not great for. We have to put in our garden. We have to put a lot of compost and stuff in to. But we got a great garden and things are up. Radishes, lettuce.
That's exciting.
Nice.
Lily, just dig one of the tulips up and have a look at the bulb. As Ken was saying, there might be something going on there. Okay,
I will do that.
Inspection.
Thank you, dear.
I have geraniums. The cutting comes years ago from Europe someplace, and they're about 5 feet tall or more. They're the ones that grow upright. I was just wondering if you would maybe like a few cuttings and try to grow them.
You betcha. I want one.
Okay. I know where you live. I used to live in that area. So we'll drop them off sometime.
I would appreciate it. I love a new plant.
And I can show you a picture of them. They're just gorgeous. There were 98 blooms on it last year on that one.
Wow.
Ken and I are both drooling here. We got our drool cups out. Looking forward to that, Lily.
Okay.
Okay, dear.
You take care. Have a good day.
You as well.
Thanks for calling.
Okay.
Right on.
Okay.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Now, we're going to say hello to a gal on the telephone right now. We've only got about a minute left in this section. We're going to get right back to her. But good morning, Maria. Congratulations, Maria Byland. This is exciting for you.
Thank you, Don. Thank you so much, and Ken as well. It is very exciting. It's something that we've been thinking about for a long, long time because we felt there was a need from the Kelowna side. But it's just so wonderful to have our daughter Melanie and her team be the inspiration to create such a stunning shopping experience. Yeah, she had the vision, and it's wonderful to see that flourish.
So today is the big grand opening of the KLO Garden Center?
Yes, it is. We're going to be doing a lot of different goodies. There's a lot of specials and just providing everybody with a really good experience. So today and tomorrow are the two big days. But certainly today we're going to have some ribbon cutting and have some fun with staff. It's wonderful to see some of these old customers that haven't been traveling so much anymore to the west side show up in Kelowna, and it's wonderful to see some of those older faces.
Maria, we've got to take a break, but please just stay on the line because I want to talk a little bit more about this opening and how exciting it is. Would you mind doing that?
Yeah, I can.
You stay on the line, and we'll be back with the Garden Show after this short break. Well, since 1954, the Byland family has operated their nursery and garden center business across the lake in West Kelowna. They were a West Kelowna icon, and now they are on KLO Road. This is great, Maria. Great news.
Thank you, Don. Really, really appreciate being supported so much by some of our customers that have come through the door in the last couple of days already. It's very, very exciting.
And so you've got the full selection. You've got all your nursery stock that you grow on the west side, plus some imported stuff. You've probably got all your bedding plants and things available there. Do you have is there a floral section?
No, there's no floral at this point.
Okay.
Because, we're still sort of at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
So there's still a lot of things that have to be worked through.
Yep.
And we had to wait on the nursery stock to put out, because once we started putting it out, people were coming through the gate, and of course we weren't really set up, and we couldn't have the public.
Should put a big curtain up there or something, and hide behind the curtain and say, "Hey, here we go." Now we're here. I know that must be a hard thing to do. Look at will you be handling bulk materials?
Yes, we will be carrying bulk. We have some product already, and next week will be a really fill up time as well. I mean, we have a lot of stuff already, but certainly it'll, and we're selling a lot of stuff already, which is really nice to see the support. But, this is sort of, it's not something that you can do in a week.
No.
It's not something that you can do, in a day. but to your point, we have a lot of our products that we already grow on the west side. Mm-hmm. We've had many semis come in to fill up the yard, and we have lots of bedding plants, lots of tropicals. Mm-hmm. We are growing quite a few, like hang baskets and mm-hmm. some of our annuals already in the Kelowna, our West Kelowna site. Mm-hmm. This is a hard one for me to say.
You'll get used to it.
Yeah. So anyways, we are growing a lot of product already in West Kelowna and bringing it over, trucking it over because, of course, we didn't have the greenhouses operational. We were doing a lot of remodeling through the winter months. So, at this point, we're not really growing so much mm-hmm. there. I mean, we are, but not as much as we will grow into that down the road more and more. But, it's pretty exciting, and the staff are all excited, and it's really nice to see the people coming in. So
Ken and I want to congratulate you, Maria, and we will drop by. So the grand opening is today. When's the ribbon cutting? What time is that?
It'll be at 10 o'clock today, but throughout the day, like we've got specials, mm-hmm. Nursery stock mm-hmm. specials. We have some freebies for the first 100 customers mm-hmm. that come in. We've got DeVille's coffee truck, which on a day like today, I mean, it's a little cooler, but, if you're mm-hmm. moving around, it's not so bad. And we have a food truck that's there all day today, too. So we've got a lot of things happening, and we want people to have fun and to experience a really neat shopping experience that we can provide, because it is relatively different than what we have in West Kelowna.
Yeah, there's good parking. There's great parking there, easy access, mm-hmm. and you're on a main fare there, so that's really, really cool. I'm very excited for you. And so the hours of the store, the general hours is when you open is going to be?
8:30 till 5.
Okay.
Every day except the weekends, then it's 10 to 5.
Okay.
So if things change, because, sometimes things do change, but mm-hmm. Sunday will always be 10 to 5.
Right.
Yeah. Nice.
Well, congratulations again, Maria, and mm-hmm. we'll stay in touch and watch things grow. No pun intended.
Thank you so much. Love it.
Okay.
And you guys keep doing a great job with your garden show. It's so interesting to hear people just be part of such a big community of gardening. So keep doing your good work. Thank you.
Thanks, Maria.
Thanks, Maria.
We have fun here, so take care.
You betcha.
I know you do.
Okay.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Look at that. I helped Bylands for a little while after we closed our business. I was over there for 5 or 6 years and helped with their information area. And, great family. And then you were there you fired up their perennial division.
Yeah,
you got that going.
Yeah.
So hey, we have a little connection to Bylands.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. There's such a huge part of the community, and I did actually get out for a sneak peek there out to the nursery this week. Good. And it's beautiful. The layout is fabulous. It's just amazing. So it's getting better every day too, because they're always bringing in new stock all the time, and I think it won't be long and they'll be mm-hmm. packed and just cruising. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Ken, the other day when you were by, I showed you my new Don Stoltz's new little toy, the little steel chainsaw. Did I not show that to you?
Oh, yeah.
The handheld steel chainsaw?
Yeah.
So I'm cutting up my old cedar hedge that was half dead, and I'm cutting out all the dead stuff. And mm-hmm. and I was borrowing his. And it's like when you borrow tools, you think, I'm putting all this wear and tear on this. So I had to go down to Salvail Equipment and buy one. They're a couple $100, but they are well worth it. Boy, do they cut. If you want a little chainsaw, like if you're going, if you got any kind of pruning to do, and cutting. It's just
it's very small. Yeah, I think the blade is like 6 inches.
Yeah, about
right?
6 or 8 inches
Maybe 8
long,
inches,
and man, it just cuts like butter.
Yeah, lovely.
And
I love the little compact batteries. Like we have several of those. There's a series in that size, and we use in the company, the KHS Landscape. We have the. We like to use those little batteries. They're kind of nice, and we have spares, and we're starting to get a collection. So we're thinking, we're going to get at least 1 or 2 of these little chainsaws, and we'll, we're always just looking for new items coming down the pipes. We're hoping they can integrate in a pruning device, like a set of electric pruners that has a similar thing, because they're pretty good.
Right, with the same battery. But what they do have is the Felco pruners.
Oh.
And they're electric pruners, and you carry a battery pack, and there's a cord that goes up, and they're Felcos, and
I like the $250 price range. It sounds really good,
yeah.
Whatever they are, they're in that $200 to $300 range, and but the Felco ones are, I think, a little bit more than that, but they are so nice. It's so nice to have a battery operated tools because they especially as we're getting older, I don't have the strength that I used to have, and when certain types of wood like apple wood and that sort of thing is pretty hard. But those power pruners, man, they work great. Yeah,
I know my friend Robert Daniel. He has a vineyard and also a blueberry farm, and he got a pair of these electric Felcos, and boy, oh boy, they are something else. You got to be careful with them, though.
Oh yeah,
Woo. You could slice your finger off pretty quick with those. If you're not careful.
A finger is very, very soft compared to the hard branches.
You got to keep your eyes and ears open. I'll tell you.
Oh yeah,
with those things. Anyway, we're going to take another short break. We're here with you on this Saturday morning. There's things popping up in the garden like crazy. It's 6 degrees. It was at least in the morning here in Kelowna in my backyard. 19 degrees in the greenhouse. It's 7 in Victoria this morning. Highs of 12 in Kelowna and 10 in Victoria predicted today. We're getting in there, boys and girls. We are starting to get to spring. The days are getting longer. Heavens, the length today was 13 hours, 16 minutes, and 7 seconds long. And last week, March 23rd, the last one I've got here, March 23rd, the last one I got was 12 hours and 24 minutes. So from March 23rd to now, it's almost an hour longer. Like it's exponential now. It's really getting longer.
I'm noticing it in the mornings as it was pitch black, getting up early in the morning, and now we're starting to see the light. Yep,
we're seeing the light, Ken.
We are.
250-862-2525 to get through to us here locally in Kelowna, and 1-888-780-4273 to get through if you're calling long distance from the Victoria area or anywhere online. We will be back with The Garden Show after this short break. Well, we're back with you on a beautiful Saturday morning. It's warming up, folks. Everything's going to start growing. Well, except my hair. It won't be growing. We've got Dan Bruce coming on, but we want to take Jo first. She's calling in from Rutland. Good morning, Jo.
Good morning, and thank you so much for your wonderful show. It's just amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My question for you is, how early can we put in our strawberry plants?
Right away.
And we had some last year. I don't remember what kind they were. I won't say where I bought them, but they really didn't do much as far as bearing fruit. They had runners galore, but no fruit particularly.
Well, they might be June-bearing strawberries, and often the first year they don't do much, and it's the second year that they'll come on. Like your ever-bearing day-neutral strawberries will start producing the first year right off the bat.
Okay. So most kinds are okay then of the ever-bearing variety?
Oh yeah. They produce beautiful big berries, and they come on like with. Do you know the name of the one that you have by chance?
No, I don't remember. No.
Okay, so the June bearing ones they'll fruit all at once, typically in June, early July sort of timing. And they'll be really nice big berries, really good, and then they're done for the year basically. And then after that, you just sort of prepare for next year's crop. Ever-bearing varieties are more sporadic, and they'll usually come on with a crop, and then they pause, and then they come on with a crop, and then they pause, and then they come on with another crop, and they pause. And depending on the variety, there's lots of varieties in each category, and there's lots of good ones. Let's just put it
the one
that way.
that we used to lean on in the ever-bearing category was TriStar.
Yeah.
There are some newer varieties. Vic Good was telling me that TriStar is, still good, but there's some better ones. But I would leave them in, Joe, because I've got a feeling they're going to produce for you this year.
Oh, okay.
The ones you have.
That would be nice.
Yeah, I think so. I can.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if they're June berries, quite often they don't produce hardly a thing the first year, and then the second year they're in, they produce well.
Okay. And my rhubarb is just beautiful. It's in full leaf.
And rhubarb needs sun. I realize that. We put our rhubarb. We transplanted it from our sunny spot into an area that was a little bit shady. Didn't do well at all. So we've transplanted that out there. We're going to put a hosta where the rhubarb was.
Yeah.
Well, I have to tell you a funny story about my rhubarb. I got the first rhubarb, and it was from a plant on the west side that was absolutely beautiful. And I was kind of disappointed the first year. There wasn't very much. So I went and bought another one. Well, you should see how much rhubarb I've got and how big it is.
Yeah, they're huge now. Eh? That's fabulous.
So you're going to make me a rhubarb pie, are you?
Oh, I can't wait to make my Mother's Day rhubarb cake, believe me.
Oh,
nice.
That sounds good.
Yes.
Joe, thank you. Sorry?
My beautiful cactus from you is absolutely gorgeous, and thank you.
Oh, nice.
You're very welcome, Joe.
Take care.
Yeah, you too. Take care.
Thanks for calling.
Bye-bye.
Okay,
Bye-bye. Yeah.
That's you got me hungry now. I mean, gee whiz.
Oh, yeah. Rhubarb cake.
Rhubarb
that's
cake.
Really
Yeah,
good.
rhubarb pie.
Rhubarb pie
cake,
is
rhubarb
excellent.
pudding.
Rhubarb
pudding.
cake.
Rhubarb. We love it. Dan Bruce is joining us. Good morning, Dan.
Hello. Good morning.
Morning.
It's a beautiful day out there. Things are starting to pop.
Well, they are. And I was doing some fire safe mitigation on the property.
That's a good plan.
Yes, but they don't make it very easy for us. But of all the things in the garden, I'm thinking maybe a good 75 to 80% of what I've planted is now gone. But there's one thing I discovered that I planted over 20 years ago that is still there. That is peony brown eye.
Oh.
That's a tree peony?
No.
Oh.
It is one of two peonies that's native of North America.
Okay.
And it's not a spectacular thing. You're not going to go driving for miles to see this because it's small, low growing, and the flower, when it comes, is kind of a maroon, yellowish, ochreish, small-sized peony flower that actually the stem hangs downwards.
Okay.
So you've got to be like 4 inches from the ground to look up to it.
Well, in general, peonies are quite drought tolerant. But look, would some of our cultivated varieties have come from this species?
No.
Nope.
No. The cultivated varieties are all from Eurasia.
Okay.
But no, there are only two species of peony native in North America, and there's some discussion as to whether peony brown eye is in fact part of the BC flora. In 1915, there was a guy, Joseph Henry, who wrote The Flora of Southern British Columbia. And it was a book commissioned, believe it or not, by the Department of Education of the province of British Columbia.
Whoa.
And he lists the peony in his text, and says it has been reported from Vancouver Island, the mountains of Vancouver Island.
Interesting.
Other sources of information say it's not native of Canada. So that's open to question. And somebody doing a botanical survey would have to be pretty sharp-eyed to see this thing. Anyway.
Dan, can I ask you a couple of questions?
Yeah?
Well, yeah. Okay. What do you know about the rhododendrons that were up in the Hope Princeton Highway there? What, are they native? Are they or were they planted?
No, they're native.
They're native rhododendron, and they were up.
Yeah.
I mean, they were beautiful.
Yeah,
they still are. There are still rhododendrons up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rhododendron flats on the Hope Princeton Highway.
Right.
Yeah. Rhododendron macrophyllum, I think it is, but that's digging in my memory.
And that is, so are they, they must be located elsewhere in BC, eh?
Yes, but I'm not certain where.
No, right, okay. Second question. I picked up a plant from Brian Minter on our way back from Vancouver last week. Pseudorhipsalis ramulosa. And it looks like a orchid cactus, really.
Yes.
But it has these little. It's called a mistletoe cactus because it's got these little white berries on the edges.
Yes.
Are you familiar with it?
Seen it. I haven't grown it.
Well, I'm excited about it. It's a brand new plant for me, and it's very different. And Brian tries to do these different things, and he says, "But nobody wants to buy them." Okay, well, I got them.
Well, and I'm going to come and a piece might fall off as I pass by it.
Yeah, I know. I got when you get Dan Bruce coming into your yard, you got to tie up his pruning shears, lock him.
Rhipsalis is an interesting thing. It is a cactus, and as we know, cactus is native to the Western Hemisphere.
Right.
But there is an exception.
Okay.
There is an exception to every rule, and Rhipsalis is the exception because it exists as a native plant in parts of Madagascar.
Interesting. Now, this is Pseudorhipsalis.
Yes.
So it looks like a Rhipsalis, but it's not, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fascinating.
Anyway, just to finish up a little bit on the peony.
Yeah.
It's named Brown Eye after a Robert Brown, who was a Scottish botanist. The Scots turn up everywhere.
Yeah.
He was an interesting guy. He did a lot of work, scientific work on plant material. Born about 1770 something. So about the time when Captain Cook was sailing around. Lived into the middle of the 19th century. But he accompanied Matthew Flinders on his circumnavigation of Australia and did a huge amount of botanical work there. A number of plants are named after him, including a eucalyptus.
Yeah.
And in the far eastern part of British Columbia, there is a Mount Brown, about a 8,000 or 9,000 foot peak in the Rockies, named after him.
Well, that's interesting stuff. As usual, Dan, we're going to we got some callers coming in, so we got to take care of those. But we always appreciate your input. And there are a lot of plants, brownie eye plants around. I've seen a few of them. So there you go.
All right. Well, I have now got this peony protected so that the dogs don't rampage through it.
Well, take a picture. I'd like to see it.
I will.
Okay. Thanks, Dan.
Okay.
Right.
Yep. Thanks
Bye-bye
for
now.
calling. Bye-bye.
And we want to say good morning and welcome to Richard from Kelowna. Richard, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Excellent, thanks.
Yeah, good, thanks.
Yeah, talked to you a few times before. My question is tulips. Normally tulips, you grow them from bulbs, right?
Right.
What about seeds, tulip seeds?
Well, they will seed around.
Yeah.
They'll naturalize. Yeah.
They'll grow, yeah. It's what you get from them. You never know. It could be good. It could be. It's probably going to revert back to what it was prior, because most of the bulbs are vegetatively reproduced. To get consistency. So the seedlings will all be a little bit different. So, and a little tricky to grow. What you would likely do is plant them immediately after, as soon as the seed pods open up and you've got the seeds there. So sometime in maybe June, beginning of June or so. And then I would just mark an area, dig a little bit of a space, and then put a whole whack of seeds in there. And bury them in and make sure it's clearly marked, and then just let it roll through the summer and in through the fall, and then the next spring you should get little tulips shooting up.
Yeah, because mine, I guess, seeded off, 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I got a Ziploc bag filled.
Oh, there you go.
And I planted some, and they're growing all over the place, but they're maybe about an inch tall.
Oh, nice.
And I was just wondering, is it common for tulips to seed?
Some will, some don't. It depends on the variety, Ken.
Yeah.
These bulbs, like I moved into this house 35 years ago, and they come up every year. And last year was, they seeded off all over the place.
That's cool. Well, then it'd be really interesting to see what they come up as, like what colors they are, and just maybe what the characteristics are.
It'd be a couple of seasons before he gets some.
Yeah, it takes usually about 2 to 3 years. It's that third year bulb that you buy, I think.
Right.
In the garden centers, it's usually a larger size tulip bulb. Their smaller ones might be 2 years old, but.
These tulips, they're growing in patches, and they seem to spread slowly but surely.
It's exciting. I love seeing that sort of thing happen, and keep us in the loop, Richard. We appreciate your letting us know.
Okay,
thank you, sir. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Perfect.
Bye-bye now.
Yeah, thanks very much.
We're at break time. We've got Linda from the Garden Club is going to join us as soon as we finish with this break. We will be back with the Garden Show after this short break. Well, we now have one of our favorite people phoning in on one of our favorite clubs in Kelowna, Linda from the Kelowna Garden Club. Good morning, Linda.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. It's one of my favorite clubs, too. I love it.
I know you do.
The Kelowna Garden Club is going to be having its annual plant sale on the 4th of May at Gooshigan Gardens on Cameron Avenue. And these are plants, perennials, annuals, shrubs that have been nurtured and grown and donated by members of the Kelowna Garden Club. So our members are out there now dividing and planting and getting things ready for our sale on the 4th of May. It starts at 9 o'clock. It's a cash-only event. And we invite your listeners who are thinking about their gardens now to come down and just see the assortment of plants that we would have to offer. The plants are great, the selection's good, and the prices are good. You bet, Linda. And my advice to folks that are going to attend and come and take advantage of this is to get there early. Because you want to get there, the cream of the crop. It's not like, we'll order some more in for you. No, that doesn't happen. That way. No, this is the cream of the crop is going to, and what do they say? The early bird gets the worm? The plant. The plant, yeah. That's right. And it's at Gooshigan, right? Yeah, it's at Gooshigan Gardens, May 4th, starting at 9, and we do open right at 9. 9 o'clock, yeah. And, and we'd appreciate the support. It's, as you know, it's our 100th anniversary. I know. And which is very exciting. But our members are very active and working like little beavers at the moment. It's only 25 years older than me. I mean, come on. Well, hopefully you'll get another 25. There you go. Okay. Well, Linda, thank you so much for the call. We always appreciate hearing from you. And people got to take note of that. And then, of course, later in the year, in June, you've got your flower show, right? That's right. That's on the 29th. And June 29th. Yep. And once again, it's in honor of our 100th anniversary. But Don and Ken, I've got a question. Oh, good. Okay. I love dahlias, and I've got lots of tubers. but we're going to be going away, and I wanted to know when is the soonest that I can put them in the ground. You know, I know that temperature plays a part in
big time.
Yeah.
Well, they can't take any frost, you know, especially if they've been started indoors. What is your window of time you're leaving?
It'll be early May. After the plant sale, May 4th.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, with the weather the way it has been, it probably won't be a problem. But yeah, it all depends on the weather. You know, if you have somebody that can kind of watch the weather like a hawk, and if it does turn bad on us in May, and they'll take anything down to freezing. But if they when it freezes, they can be damaged. So what you want to do is get a friend or a relative or somebody that can come in if it's going to get cold. Watch the weather like we would normally do if you were at home, and put a cardboard box over each plant. If and that probably would save them, unless we have something weird, you know.
Yeah, or even just build a little makeshift cold frame, something that could maybe help to hold it. But then that might require opening, closing. Maybe on eastern exposure, maybe. Yeah, eastern exposure. That way you'd get the warmth in the morning, but then be cooler in the afternoon.
Okay, well, that's helpful, and thank you so much.
You're very welcome
for being there.
we enjoy your efforts too, Linda. Do you mind telling us where you're heading? Somewhere warm? Somewhere?
Yes, we are. We're going to the Mediterranean.
Oh, exciting!
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Take lots of pictures. We'll come to one of the garden club meetings, and you'll be doing a Mediterranean plant show.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks
Linda.
very much.
Take care.
Linda.
Okay. Bye.
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 See, there's another area that I'd love to go to, Ken, the Mediterranean, the plant material there. Mind you, it's varied. There's no question it's varied. Did I told you, well, I don't know if I told you on the air, but I when I was in at Brian's, I bought a gentian plant, blue gentian. And you don't get them very, you don't get as much, a bluer plant in the garden. Blue is not the easiest thing. A true blue plant is, well, you get that with my morning glory. The
Himalayan poppies, they're kind of that light blue.
Yeah, the Himalayan poppies would be a blue one, and of course my morning glory, what was it? Heavenly blue morning glory. That is one that has really shone for me. I
There's
grew last year.
few clematis that are blue, but it's a tough color to get flowers in typically. But gentian is the best. You often hear that gentian blue. It's a really nice deep blue color. And it's lovely.
Yeah, well, here we go. It's 250-862-2525 is our number to get through locally here. 1-888-780-4273 if you're phoning in from Victoria or anywhere else online, if you're listening online. The weather is turning. We're getting excited. I've got lots of seedlings started in the greenhouse, and the garden centers are starting to hum. And hey, we're just going at her. I've got I mentioned my jacaranda, which I put outside 3 weeks ago. It got hit with the frost early. It got hit with that early frost, a late frost, and but it's now pushing again. So it takes a little frost. It's got
woody
growth
stems, So
new
tertiary buds in the wood there. Yeah.
Last Thursday we left for Vancouver, and I had a friend staying with me, and I said my banana plant, which is out, I'd had it all winter long in the laundry room, and I put it outside because it was nice and warm. But that Thursday when I left for Vancouver, it forecasted a bit of frost, right? So I said, Al, you got to get that plant in, Well, he just forgot, and which is okay. He's on holiday, and he forgot.
Yep.
And it got nailed because the banana in the morning was just hanging, right?
Yeah.
However, I cut all that crap off there, and it's starting to push. It's got a little needle coming up, so it survived. It got through the terrible whatever.
Yeah, I can recall one time we were down in Houston, Texas, and we were enjoying the beautiful banana plants growing in everybody's yards, and we were just in awe because some of them were quite huge.
Mm-hmm.
And then while we were there, minus 5 degrees Celsius while we were there, and we got up in the morning, and they are all melted, they were really rough looking, but they all came back.
They came back.
Yeah, they just shoot up again.
Yeah.
So I think it's something wouldn't say it's common that it happens to them in their native climate. And these are the real fruiting bananas.
Well,
right?
It must be something about us Colonians that go down south. Donna and I, in 77, I think, went to Florida for a trip, 3 weeks in Florida, and it froze. It froze down.
How weird is that?
They had the sprinklers going on the orange fields and stuff to keep the frost from hurting the plants. This was in February. We went, and sure enough, there you go.
We went down to Tucson to go to the big irrigation convention down there, and we get down to Tucson and driving down the streets, and everything's dead. All the palm trees are dead. All the shrubs are dead. Everything's dead. The cactuses were not dead, but everything else was dead. And I was just saying, like, why is everything dead down here? And then somebody said, we had -7 the other night. Which was pretty unusual.
Yeah, and that's Celsius. Yeah, it is, Ken, but it's all relative. It's like us on the coast, we that window of time takes us out of that zone, Anyway, we got to take a break here for the news and whatnot at 9 o'clock, and we welcome your calls when we come back. It's 250-862-2525 or 1-888-780-4273. We will be back with The Garden Show after this short break. Just got a text from our good friend Gabe Capel. He had been down in Mexico, and he's seen the jacaranda trees. And, of course, he says down in Mexico, the J is pronounced like an H, so it's jacaranda, I guess. Jacaranda?
Yeah, something
like that. Mm-hmm. So if your name is Joe, it's Ho. I don't know. Anyway, and also I got Teresa Hodges giving me some messages here too. But first of all, we need to go to the phone lines because that's what this show is all about. The phone is priority here on this show. We've got Kathy joining us. Good morning, Kathy.
Good morning, Don. Love your show.
Everything's
so informative all the time. Yeah. But I just want to quickly ask you, what was the name of the plant? You talked to Linda, and you said that you should cover it in case there's frost.
You're talking Dahlias or Dahlias.
Oh, Dahlias. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, that's all I wanted to know.
Yeah, if she's putting it out, she's going to have to really watch the weather because, they'll take low temperatures, but they won't take frost. At least the new growth one. The tuber would probably survive with a small amount of frost, but why mess with it,
Why take it? Yeah. Okay, thanks so much.
Okay, dear.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, thanks for calling. Bye-bye.
Yeah, it's...
Don't take a chance.
No.
We go through all this work to get them through the winter, and you're just getting ready to go, and you don't want them to freeze up. That's for sure.
Yeah. I've got Teresa. Well, Teresa Hodge is going to call us. She says that she's got some she wants a list of vegetable seeds that can be planted now. Charlie wants to start cucumbers and squash, but I'm not sure if it's too early. Well, let's talk about that because and Teresa's going to call in and chat. So we'll wait for her call. I got Mojo back, right? And Mojo, our Husqvarna auto mower, which I just love. It's given me a beautiful lawn without me mowing. We got rid of our mower years ago now, and it goes around and does its thing. It does a beautiful job of the lawn. However, what it has is a parameter wire that goes around the lawn that the mower follows, and it's guided it. So,
right.
Unfortunately, over the winter, something happened, and there was a break in that wire. So you have to search the wire out. There's methods to do it, and I got mine done. I've got the green light now. But that's the only difficulty with it is once in a while that wire does disconnect somehow, either from somebody digging in the garden or in this case it was stepping stones just outside my workshop, and we kept walking on the stepping stone and eventually cut through the wire.
Yeah, so it was just moving just slightly.
Yep.
That happens with irrigation lines too. Actually, it's quite common. Yeah,
you bet. Okay, so what we've got now is Teresa on the line. Good morning, Teresa. How you doing?
Good morning, Ken. Good morning, Dawn. Mm-hmm. I would have called you earlier. However, I was trying to run down to get Charlie coffee this morning.
Don't run out of
near the
coffee.
phone.
Now, is it just straight coffee?
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe.
That's right. Look, you're wondering about what you can plant. You mentioned cucumbers and squash and that. It is now. You've got that little greenhouse.
Yeah.
So I would suggest you can get them started now.
Okay, because I know he wanted to jump the gun like 2 weeks ago, and I went, stop.
That's a little early for them. But now you've got your little greenhouse, and if you can keep the frost out of it, you can get those cucumbers and squash going. Yeah.
Okay, good. So those are kind of my last ones because I've already got the tomatoes and whatnot going. So they kind of started inside. Plus, I have those slips. I don't know if you got my message from the sweet potatoes.
Oh, yes.
And I don't know how well they'll do, but I thought, nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Yeah.
So I got like 60.
Oh, well, I wouldn't mind trying a couple.
Yeah.
Can you spare two?
Yeah, I can spare some. So, I mean, if you want to, I've given a few people, and they're still in the water. Mm-hmm. They're still growing the roots. Yeah. It's too soon to put them in, obviously.
They need heat. They're a heat.
Yeah, they can't handle any kind of cold. That's for sure.
Yeah, but we have grown them here before, and we did quite well. So I'm going to do it again. Only this time, instead of ordering slips, which are really expensive, I just thought I would start my own from some organic sweet potatoes in it. Been working.
There you go.
Perfect.
Well, I always love your enthusiasm and your passion, Teresa, and we're gonna have fun this spring, sharing notes and sharing garden visits. I appreciate coming to see you too. You betcha.
All right.
Okay.
Well, we will talk to you soon, and I'll let Charlie know he can happily plant away.
Go nuts. Take care.
All right.
Teresa, I did really appreciate Charlie's tribute to Bob Verge. Bob Verge was a giant. He was one of Kelowna's early successful musicians, rock musicians. And he was with Shadracks, of course, and the Shadracks went to Vancouver, and then Bob moved off to Edmonton and whatnot. But I'm telling you, he was a great guy. And it's one of those things that you just wish that you would have done. And what I wanted to do about 10 years ago was get the Shadracks back together again. We just spent an evening with Craig McCaw and his wife Helen in Vancouver. And Craig McCaw, of course, went from the Shadracks to the Poppy Family to another band called Wave that did quite well. I mean, they were world famous, and Craig would have been here in a minute to get. And Rick Masalem's passed away now. Now Bob's gone. You gotta do these things when you're gonna do them, right? Anyway,
I know. He'll be well missed.
Oh, you betcha, and we appreciate Charlie's insight and his tribute to Bob.
Oh well, I will let him know that you've mentioned that because he really did love Bob.
You betcha.
Okay.
Take care.
Take care, you guys.
Yeah.
Have a good
Thanks,
day.
Teresa.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Yeah, that was a fun night with Craig and Helen. Craig is really, really into telescopes.
Yeah,
like big time into telescopes. He's got a telescope there that's 3 feet in diameter, Ken.
Yeah,
he's got it's a 2.5 foot mirror.
Wow.
And I mean, he can see stuff that is scary.
Yeah,
and he's got a filter that he can put on this thing, and you can look directly at the sun through this filter.
Yeah, amazing.
And so you're seeing all these sunspots, and you see those explosions and everything. And because right now, you go out and the sun's shining. Oh, there's the sun. But you look at it from in that perspective with that filter on, and you see the activity going on up there. It's a nuclear reaction going on up there.
Big time,
and that sun is so, you say, well, this is a garden show. Why are you talking about the sun? Well, the sun is the most important thing to gardening.
That's where all life comes
without
from.
The sun, without the sun, you can't garden. So, so it's fascinating. We had a great night. It was a wonderful night of listening to some music, and he's got a lot of old albums there too to play. But anyway, we got some stories, some of the Poppy family stories, road stories. Every band has their road stories. Anyway, enjoyed it very much. And the Blodell Conservatory. We got my son and his girlfriend Sabrina took us to the Blodell Conservatory. Now we've been there before a few times. And relatively recently, too, because it's just a place, if you're ever in Vancouver, folks, you must go to the Blodell Conservatory. It's an indoor thing. There's parrots in there. There's huge plants, big pachypodiums and big,
huge tropicals.
Oh,
yeah.
beautiful, beautiful. And that thing's been there a long
paradise,
time.
Yeah.
And they have little mice in there.
Oh.
And of course, they came in because mice do that, right? They came in to stay warm in the winter or something. And at first they were wanting to maybe not have them, but then they realized they're all part of the ecosystem in there. So it's so cute. You see these little mice going around eating seeds and stuff, and they coexist with the birds, and they coexist with other things. I'm not sure if they have any snakes in there. Maybe not. They wouldn't want to scare people away. Some people don't like snakes.
Some people don't like mice.
Some people don't like mice either. But the kids were having a ball. There's one. Yeah. It's great.
It's interesting. Yep. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, it is such a beautiful place, and those huge leaves on those gorgeous tropicals.
Oh.
I mean, I always like to, when I have the opportunity, go down in the wintertime and go into the conservatory, because it gives you that little taste of tropical environment, that you miss here in Canada.
They do such a good job, and that's, of course, at Queen Elizabeth Park. And the Queen Elizabeth Park, is an amazing place to be.
Yeah, it is.
And also, of course, the Van Dusen Gardens is another beautiful spot in Vancouver.
Those huge gunneras they used to have there. I imagine they're still there. Yeah, it was beautiful.
And then, of course, in Victoria is Bouchard Gardens, which is really a beautiful spot to be, world famous again.
Oh, yeah.
And, well, we've got to take a break here, but we're going to just say quickly hello to Paxton from Kelowna.
Well, hello, Mr. Burnett. I know this is off the record, but since you were talking about old records, the record sales tomorrow at the Ukrainian Church on Coronation Avenue.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I forgot about that. That's tomorrow, is it?
You're an old band member.
Yeah, that's tomorrow.
Rocker, for lack of better words.
Yeah. And no, that's exciting. Quickly give us a little detail there, and we'll repeat it as the show goes on here.
Okay, it's that you probably know the Ukrainian Church on Coronation Avenue.
Yes.
And what is it? Gordon. Yeah, Glenmore. Gordon and Coronation Avenue. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep, Gordon and Coronation. And when does it open up?
9 to 3.
9 to 3.
Yeah.
I will be dropping in.
They might charge you extra if you're an earlier bird, but I think I don't think charge admission because it didn't say it's in the paper.
Yeah.
It was $3.
Oh, well.
But if you're an early bird, it's $5.
Worth going to. That's good. I appreciate it, Paxton. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, buddy.
Have a great day.
Yeah, you too. Take care.
Thanks for calling.
You too. Bye-bye.
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 That note, we're going to have to take that short break. We'll be back with The Garden Show after this short break. Well, folks, get out in the garden, grow some vegetables. Ken Salvail just had a discussion with me, and it's vegetables that really do as well. Cut the carbs out. I don't know.
Yeah,
I love bread, Ken. I love bread. Okay,
man, it's one of those things.
I know.
Sugar's bad. They're finally starting to open up, and they're saying, I know every industry is geared and driven by sugar, but it doesn't have to be.
Well, another 40 years from now, I'll know whether I should be eating sugar or not. Yeah. Maureen from Victoria, are you joining us? Good morning, Maureen.
Good morning.
Hey.
Good morning.
What I want to know is I saw this plant at a nursery, actually, in southern Alberta. Mm-hmm. But it's Adonis vernalis. And they said it's really hard to grow from seed, but I'd love to get a hold of the plant. Do you know anywhere where it's available?
Well, you're from Victoria, so
I've asked and I've looked, and I haven't found it anywhere, and haven't even seen the seed anywhere. And the people said it's really hard, but it was a gorgeous, bright yellow, and came up really early in the spring.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's a part of the ranunculus family.
Yes, it looked like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so probably seed houses might be the way to go. And the first thing that I would do is to just literally type that into the Google, and just type in Adonis vernalis and type in for sale, available for sale, and immediately. Google loves things that are for sale, so it'll search and find it. And then you can find, you might be able to buy in roots or even containerized plants or the seed itself and grow some from seed. But I always like to get the plants.
They say that the nursery, I asked about it, and they says, "Oh no, it doesn't transplant easily, and it's really hard to grow from seed. So you just have to look at it and enjoy it." So
well, now you got me going on it.
Yeah, it's such a bright color. It's just a beautiful thing.
Whenever somebody says it's hard to grow from seed or it's hard to grow or hard to try, I want to do it. So there you go. Marlene, this is great. I got one plant that I got that's really cool that you don't see around too much is a Montauk daisy. And I got it from my friend Bill Campbell in Toronto. His wife, Pat, had grown it in the garden, and I brought home slips, and we've got 2 plants growing in the garden, and they're coming up really nicely again. They're a daisy. It looks like a Shasta daisy, but they bloom late in the fall. And they give that massive white color in the fall, which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so in Montauk
daisy. M-O-N-T-A-U-K, I think. Montauk.
Okay.
Montauk.
Okay.
You'll get it if you use that spelling. It'll come through and it'll give you the correct spelling that Don Burnett didn't know.
There you go.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks,
you
dear.
very much.
Appreciate the call.
Welcome. Yeah.
Thanks for calling in. Appreciate it. Yeah. It's cool. All these different plants and this plant of the week that I have, this pseudo-ripsalis.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited about it. It's not the plant that most people would look at and say, "Oh, I want one of those." But I don't know. We always look at that. What do you call it? The swan that was born. The ugly duckling or whatever it was.
Yeah.
It turned into a swan. And this is kind of what
black sheep, wasn't it? No.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Anyway, I'm quite excited about that and excited about getting my plants out of the greenhouse onto my shelves. I really am. I've got a few out now. I got a few plants. I got my ginger out and I'm watching the weather. Every night I watch the weather. If it's going to freeze, everything comes back in.
Yep.
It's in and out, in and out. Except for the banana got left out.
Exercise. Yeah,
the banana got left out.
Well, it's coming back. So.
Yeah, it's going to come back.
Yeah,
it's going to come back. One of the things we don't see a lot of nowadays are begonia tubers, as many as we used to. Yeah. And I would love to see more begonia tubers out there. Mm-hmm. They sell now the non-stops and the tuberous begonias that are from seed,
Yeah.
And that's fine.
They're still available. I think it's just garden centers run on requests. Mm-hmm. So when people request things, then that's how, if they get enough requests, then they'll start to stock it if they think it's something that will sell. But I think there's a lot of begonias available now that come as plants. Mm-hmm. They're already growing in small pots, especially the begonia rex category, the ones grown for their foliage. Man, they're beautiful. That's really, I think, one of my favorite begonias. Just any of those brightly colored foliage plants. They go great in planters, in those shade planters or part shade. It's just lovely to have a couple begonias, like begonia rexes in there. Their foliage is just so beautiful. There's some of those so dark red, or sort of fluorescent pink colors. And they work really good and much more durable than some other plants like caladiums, which are also one of my favorites. But I find it's, for us in the Okanagan here anyway, it's easier to look at them in pictures than it is to actually grow them.
Yeah.
They're a bit of a challenge in this climate. But yeah, they love to be warm. That's the thing with caladiums. But I just love the foliage color because you don't have to wait for the thing to bloom. Mm-hmm. For me, I would say a planter on the deck, that I would have, like, everything would be foliage, and I would only have, like, one flowering plant in it. Because the foliage is such diverse, plant selections available that are just so beautiful. It's gorgeous.
And that was another thing, discussion that Brian Minter and I, when we were visiting him last Monday. He said it's really becoming the thing now with tropical plants, foliage color. Foliar color, because, of course, a lot of the tropicals, they're not renowned for their bloom. So they might as well get some color into them with the foliage, crotons, and, of course, a lot of philodendrons now with a variegated leaf. And you got me that little variegated leafed jade plant, crassula, a variegated one. So that variegation is really attractive and becoming very popular among folks.
Yeah, well, and I've always said that about even in landscape plants, hardy plants, is that if you can lean a little bit on foliage color or interest, then you don't have to wait for it to bloom. It's always looking great. And when it blooms, that's just a bonus. But you grow it because it has interesting foliage. It's just, for me, it extends the season, right?
Something that's hardy in Victoria and on the island that isn't hardy here is New Zealand flax. It won't survive the winter here most winters. It can once in a while. Like I had a pampas grass come through a winter once, and it was beautiful.
Had a couple.
That was it. But
one cold winter and gone.
And some people say, well, that's a good thing because they're a bit of a weed down the coast. But so what we've got here coming up is another caller, and we appreciate it. It's Gabriella from Kelowna. Hi, Gabriella. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm fine. Thank you, Don. I want to ask you, what can I do? What is the best use of the powder coming from coffee? Once we have the coffee drink, I have been collecting the powder, dried it, leaving it to dry. And I don't want to mix it with the compost. I know this can be one of the uses. I was thinking if I can put a little amount of that powder from the coffee in the holes that are left after I remove weeds. Do you think that will be a good idea? I was thinking about the chemistry in the soil to change the environment to avoid them to come back.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the benefits or the negatives of coffee is. We haven't, it's sort of the jury is out. I've tried some, we have available a source of coffee grounds that are big time, like a trailer full. And I was playing around with it last year, and I didn't see any positive results. I didn't see any negative results. It was just, it's just organic stuff that you can put in the ground that breaks down.
It's like filler in a way, more of a filler.
Filler, Ken?
Yeah. And it has its ups and downs in several different ways, but it's like any kind of organic matter. Rather than don't throw it away, compost it, right? So you'd mix it in with your compost during the composting, and it'll break down and become even better.
They say that it might add a little acidity to the soil, and if that's the case, great in the Okanagan. We need that.
Okay, so it will be good in the compost, which is usually how people use that.
Yeah, and your compost will stay awake all night.
Yeah. What do you think about my experiment, trying to fill the holes from the weeds with that?
You're digging out weeds? Is that WEED, weeds?
Weeds, yeah.
Weeds. So you dig them out, you got a hole in the ground, and you fill it up with coffee grounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's going to have any negative effect. Be fine. It'll rot down.
It will make the soil to look darker, of course.
Oh, sure.
Coffee is darker, but it will add that, what you say, acid element?
That's what they say. Now, I haven't I haven't studied it enough to know. There might be somebody out there in the listening audience that's done some more research on coffee grounds, but that's all I remember hearing was it adds a bit of acidity to the ground. And I spread some around my garden and my lawn last year with no real evident change, Yeah.
No evidence. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, dear.
I will experiment and let you know.
Let us know.
Next year what happens.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. Yeah. Great.
Thank you, Gabriella.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for calling.
Okay.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see.
It's coffee grounds, we go through a lot of coffee ourselves, but... it's hard to know. The jury is still out. We're going to take a break now. We're at the bottom of the hour, and we invite your calls, 250-862-2525 in Kelowna, 1-888-780-4273 if you're down at the coast or listening in Victoria or anywhere online. We'll be back with The Garden Show after this short break. And we are back, and the sun is trying to peek through the clouds. I mean, it's giving a good effort here. I don't know what the forecast is today, but hopefully it'll get a little warmer. We have a good friend, Addie, calling in. Addie, we always appreciate your call. How you doing?
Good morning, guys. I'm doing fine, and I'm very happy with all my outdoor plants, other than the pine straw that I've got. It just keeps coming. I don't know. How can we get rid of pine straw?
You're talking about pine needles?
Pine needles, yeah.
Yeah, pine needles dropping. Sounds like the Masters. That's the big thing at the Masters golf tournament. They have pine straw that they have. He's in the pine straw, trying to hack his way out of the pine straw. Yeah.
My pansies are in the pine straw, and they're trying to hack their way out. And I keep raking it off gently, and I'm sure that I'm taking some of the pansies out. However, yes, it's one of the advantages of living kind of
in the pines.
Among the pines.
Among the pines, yeah. Well, Addie, you're saying to me how to get rid of the pine straw. It's going to happen. You're not going to go up in the tree and gather all the pine needles and take them away. It's going to drop. They're going to drop. So a light raking. But, they can be chopped up and put in the compost, too.
Oh, I know. That's what I do. But, it's just I've got so many. Last year, we took away about 11 bins.
Oh, man.
Like apple bins? The compost
green
bins. Yeah.
Compost bin. Well, the 11 bins that you take out, the green bins.
Green bins, yeah.
We get one of those containers or a couple of containers to our complex every spring and every fall. And I had some guy help me to take 11 bins went into that. Wow. It was just amazing how many I guess after the fires, a lot of them, the trees were so dry that they just kept losing the needles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do. How does the new growth looking this year? Is it starting to push on the pines?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like I say, I'm very happy with my outside garden, but my indoor garden, my Christmas cactus, the leaves are looking very dull. What can I do? And it's still blooming.
Oh, yours is on a real roll. I know quite a few calls that you made from Christmas till now where you just kept saying, it's still blooming, it's still blooming.
Yeah.
And so,
I mean, not profusely, but it's got, right now it's got 7 blooms on it. I mean, it's still a lot of it.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I would say you can start feeding it if you haven't already. So you can give it some, water soluble fertilizer. So
like 12, 26, 12?
Yeah, or 20, something like that would work.
Okay.
So yeah, it's they're not really particular on their food supply, but at this time of year we are in spring now, so it's time to sort of get them growing a bit. So yeah, you can give them some food.
I feed my some of my plants with a spray that I get for the orchids, and I'm wondering whether I should spray some of that orchid spray on it to shine up the leaves, because it's way too big for me to shine them up with. My sister said, do it with milk.
Oh.
Another one that's good for cleaning up leaves is neem oil. If you can buy neem oil. I'm not sure if you can buy neem oil, but neem oil works really well as a plant shine, as a leaf shine.
How do you spell that?
NEEM.
Oh.
And I'm just not sure whether it's available. I mean, it's touted on the internet as being an insecticide and whatnot, but
it's not
Health
registered
Canada did not register it because there are some issues with it. But because they're very stringent, their regulations in Ottawa. But or you can get plant shine, but be very gentle with it. Don't be spraying it so that you got it running off the leaves. Just nice, gentle little plant shine, leaf shine.
I don't have to tissue it off or anything. Just spray it on.
No. I mean, it's nice if you can do that, but it's too big a plant, so. Well, try a section and see if it works. I think it might work for you. Yeah.
Okay. My other question is orchid cactus. I have looked all over the place, and other than going to Brian Minter's, I guess I haven't been able to find orchid cactus anywhere in the valley.
No, the only place you usually find them is when you get to a nursery where the nursery owner has a bunch because he loves them and he's growing them in the back somewhere, and they'll sometimes take a few cuttings here and there and put them out for sale. So you do just have to keep your eyes open, or connect up with somebody who's growing some. Like I grow quite a few different ones. I usually have a couple of small cuttings rooted. So
well, there I am. I've connected to somebody.
You've connected to somebody. Well, actually, what's going to happen here is that I haven't got an orchid cactus now, and Ken has just dropped the bomb here because he's gonna bring me a cutting, and then once we get going, Addie, you and I will both have lots of orchid cactus.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. But I like I say, I've been looking at Google to see what they look like and everything, and I think I'd like to have one of those. I've got a whole bunch of other ones, but I think that one looks like it could be a good addition.
They're really fun.
As soon as if you can slip past Dawn's place and over to my place, Ken, I'd greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, well, we'll connect up here at some point, and then, we'll see what we can do.
Ken, it's worth a couple of dozen pierogies.
Ooh, okay. Well, how about this afternoon?
What are you doing at 2 o'clock this afternoon? Is that what you're doing? Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, guys.
I'll send you a text.
Yeah, you betcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks much. You have a great week.
Take care,
okay,
Addie.
thanks, Addie.
Appreciate the call.
Yeah, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, it's always cool to hear from Addie. You know, she's one of our very, very strong, long-term listeners and caller-inners. We appreciate that very much because we've been on the air now since 1983. And this is our, it's our, what is it now? It's our something like 1,942 shows we've been on the air. And it's kind of neat. I was 33 years old when we started this show. 33 years old.
Yeah.
I don't feel any different than I did then.
Yeah.
Seriously, Ken. I feel no difference.
No, you don't look any different. Exactly the same.
Exactly. My eyes are just as unwrinkled as they were then. Yeah, right. It's fascinating how time goes by. I'm like an old tree, Ken. Like an old tree. I got my tobacco seed up. How's yours doing?
I got to go have a look at it today because I've got it in my under my grow lights. So and I haven't been down.
Mine's coming up pretty good. It's growing, but to prick it out, I'm going to have to use one of those little forks that we made to do the begonia seedlings.
They're amazingly tiny.
They are tiny. Well, the seed is like dust.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. And of course, I don't smoke, but they say it's a beautiful big plant, big tobacco.
Yeah, a large leaf plant. So it's interesting for sure. Yeah.
We talked about the Garden Club's plant sale, of course, coming up very soon here now. But we also talked about the Garden Club flower show in June on the 29th, I think she said. There is also a flower power garden tour on Saturday, June the 15th. 9 exceptional gardens, and that's going to be exciting. If anybody needs to get some ideas, the ideal thing to do is go on one of the garden tours. And this has been going on for years. Now they're alternating with Lake Country and Kelowna's going back and forth now, right?
Yes, yeah, exactly. Just because only so many gardens to go around. But if you have a garden and you're interested in potentially participating, all you have to do is reach out to any of the garden clubs, and they'll link you up with somebody. And they're always looking for participants. I know this year's is locked up now, but next year in the Lake Country area, they're going to be looking for gardens. And it's always a fabulous time. Yeah. I'm going to be out at a garden out in the Mission area on that tour, and I'll be answering plant questions as usual, taking people on quick tours, and maybe having a couple topics to talk about while I'm there as well.
Perfect.
So, be good.
Ken, we've got Dawn calling in. Dawn, good morning.
Good morning. It's not exactly garden question, but I have a very obstinate robin who keeps hitting all my windows, and I don't understand. I've covered my outside windows as much as I can, and it's still coming. It's like, is there anything I can do to help get rid of this robin?
Well, one of the things, and it's not aesthetically pleasing, but you could get some scare-away bird line, this shiny tape, and hang it, 2 or 3.
I tried that. It doesn't.
It's not working. They're still banging.
Well, what they do,
I have a half-covered deck out the back, and he's coming under the covering, under the thing, and hitting the windows. It's like, I know he's seeing his reflection, but it's like,
he wants to fight. He wants to fight that his competitor, and to show off in front of the girls. And so he knows there's one living there. It's in under your pergola. It's always in that window right there. And so
once they go and check it out,
once they find it, it's hard to break that.
The other thing you might do is get one of those owls or eagles or hawks.
I've tried that too. I've tried. I said on the internet. I thought maybe you guys had
some mesh,
old time something.
We've hung mesh before to keep birds out, and that's worked pretty good. Very thin black mesh. and it really confuses them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've hung curtains on the outside of most of my windows, but now he's hitting the patio door, right? So I can't really do that one. But I've also hung curtains on the outside of the edge of the roof. And he still goes under those, and it's like he is determined.
Yeah, Don, how long has it been going on?
It's been a couple years now, and I thought I got it earlier enough this year that he wasn't coming back, but he's back. It's like, oh my goodness.
Well, his time's just about up. How long do robins live?
How many times can they hit that glass and keep coming back?
Oh,
well,
man.
because of course, they deposit every time they hit the glass, and so I can't put my patio furniture out or anything because it's all covered in his.
That's a lovely way of putting it. Depositing. He deposits. It's like putting something in the bank, right?
Yeah. So no help, guys. Thanks.
I'm sorry. Maybe if somebody is listening out there that knows how to help with Don's robin, give us a call because we're going to take a short.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Take care, Don.
Okay. Yeah. Bye bye.
Just about called Don Robin, but anyway, we're going to take a short break. Do give us a call, and if you have any answers for Don, that'd be great. See if we can keep that robin at bay. 250-862-2525 to get through locally here in Kelowna. 1-888-780-4273 is from Victoria or anywhere online. We'll be back with The Garden Show after this short break. So how proud was I to have pea plants coming up in my garden and some beauties that I started in the greenhouse. Well, I put them outside, of course, because peas can stand being out in the cold. And put them outside, and we go to Vancouver for 3-4 days. Come back, and the quail.
Not the quail.
I've had, what, it's not the quail?
No, it's the house sparrows. House sparrows eat peas.
Sparrows.
Pea seedlings, yeah.
So the quail got blamed for nothing? I shot 3 of them.
For everything, yeah. Trapped 8 of them. No, the quail do get blamed for a lot of things, but yeah, they're...
well, they're so cute.
They eat seeds, mostly seeds, but... Even that, they're kind of picky on what kind of seeds they eat because there's so much to choose from.
So it's
berries
sparrows.
And seeds. It's those little sparrows, and so just because every spring, every time I saw that happen to my peas, I would set up. I'd go out and set up a little station and spend the day watching. And sure enough,
geez, you've got a lot of time in your hands.
Yeah, well, now I never put peas out unless they're protected chicken wire or something.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
Never put them out without cover.
Okay. Now, but once they get to be big plants, you're okay.
They're fine, yeah.
Yeah. It's just when they're little.
When they're under, say, anything lower than about 6 inches, you got to watch out.
Okay.
But especially when they're new, just shooting, they'll nip them off. Oh, I hate that.
Darn sparrows. Okay.
Yeah, house sparrows specifically.
Well, we got a sparrow hawk in our neighborhood.
Oh, really?
And it's fascinating because when all the sparrows are tweet, 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 and they're in the bird bath and everything like this, that sparrow hawk starts flying around, quiet.
Yeah.
They all suck back into the pyramid cedar hedge and just wait and wait. They know what they're doing. Know what they're doing. Yep.
Pretty cool.
Well, I'm doing my seed germination tests, of course, and things are coming along pretty good. I'm being able to throw out a lot of seed, Ken. A lot of seed gets chucked out.
Yep.
And it's been sitting there, but I haven't stored it properly. I've had it stored in the greenhouse shed in the head house. Too humid. It's much too humid to be.
In a refrigerator, if some people have the old beer fridge, that's just ideal. The perfect, 4 degrees Celsius is perfect for storing seeds.
Yeah. Beer and seeds are really nice together.
They kind of go hand in hand.
You betcha.
Yeah.
We've got Eric calling in from Rutland. Good morning, Eric.
Good morning, Don. Ken, how's it going today?
Good.
Yeah, all good, thanks.
A lot of white stuff in the hills.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I guess. It's not enough,
we
though.
Need it anyway, so.
There's not enough.
When's a good time to get the lawn sprayed?
For what?
Like for weeds and
stuff.
Well, I mean, the weeds are showing up. The broadleaf weeds are showing up, and Eric, it's something that I've backed off on a lot. using herbicides on my lawn. However, I know that sometimes it's necessary, and the best time to do it, of course, is before they go to flower and when they've got some foliage, because they have to have foliage on there.
It's usually around the end of April or sometimes early May, just depending on what you have. Because the more foliage you get on those, the easier they are to knock out.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, the fact is that if a lawn is compacted and needs aeration and needs top dressing or whatever, the weeds are going to really grow better than the lawn. So if you do some, you know, get your overseeding done and your top dressing and your plug aeration and just get that. They need air at the roots. Weeds will grow in hard pan, whereas lawn needs to have that. So if you can get your lawn out competing the weeds, you can back off on the herbicides.
Yeah, but so we put the dressing on at last or first or?
Well, Ken, I mean, the thing is, we're
just going to thatch the lawn now.
Well, dethatching is one thing, which is fine. If you do have some thatch build up, dethatching is a good thing. But in combination with aeration, I have some folks coming down the street with both machines. They would come in and do the dethatching, and the second person would come in behind with a plug aerator. I've never seen that sort of done at the same time.
Yeah, they should be done together because that makes sense. That thatch comes about because of lack of drainage, and you know, so having the plug aeration is certainly an advantage for sure.
Eric, if you have a moment, give me an email. Send me an email. Ask me for my lawn maintenance sheets. I've got several of them, and it might give you some insight.
Perfect.
Okay.
Appreciate your help.
You betcha.
Thanks for calling.
Thanks for calling, Eric. Take care. Yep. So, as we go getting into spring here, one of the things a person wants to make sure they do is get into the garden centers early and look. You know, garden centers. It's like going to a garden, a botanical garden or a show garden like Gouchican and that sort of thing, or Bouchard. You can't just go once and expect to see it all at that time because it's evolving. And garden centers are the same way. They get whether it's the greenery, whether it's Bylands, whether it's Art Knapp's, whether it's Rick's in Kelowna here, and then of course there's many in Victoria as well. Or even the box stores. So you go in there, and in particular the box stores, they're constantly evolving the plants. And problem sometimes with the box stores is that you don't get the same thing. I'm looking for that tomato seed, not the one that you're thinking of, Ken, but this is a grape tomato, and I had it 2 years ago, and it was from I bought it at Home Depot, and I keep going back to Home Depot last year all through the season, and they didn't have it again. So that's the difficulty, you know. And I've saved a little bit of seed, but I don't think it's going to come true, you know.
Yeah, that's a tough one. It's just one of those things. But like you say, all these stores are they're getting stock and they're rotating as quick as they can. As stuff sells out, sometimes they restock, sometimes they don't, and you sort of have to shop around a bit to see what you can get. But just on that note, we should remind people that today is the grand opening for Bylands Nursery, the new location on KLO. And it's cool. It's a great spot. And you'll have to stop by today and have a look. All kinds of specials going on and some freebies for the first X number of people who show up. And, it's going to be really cool. I love their breezeway where they do their cashier.
Oh, okay.
It's fabulous. It's so cool.
Well,
I think it's a really unique garden center. And
they're going to be opening ribbon cutting in about 4 minutes here.
Yeah.
John Gowland is putting on this record sale tomorrow, the vinyl sale.
Oh, okay.
John Gowland, old school pal of mine, and this is at the Ukrainian church at the north end of town on Gordon and I forget the other name. But anyway, you can look it up. We're going to have to take a break, do our tips and plants of the week pretty quick here. We do appreciate your calls. We appreciate your listening, and we always love to be here on a Saturday morning to talk to you about gardening. and other things, of course. There's a little bit of other things going along the way. Anyway, we're now going to do our tips and plants of the week. A little bit early, but that's okay. My tip of the week is this, that when laying out a bed in the yard, I like to use a simple arrangement format. A bed needs a strong focal point with 3 plants, all the same, I call the visitors. So you got your focal point, and you got 3 of the same kind of plant at the base in a triangle around them, and then all the other little lesser things are the kids, and they add texture and color to the bed. So that's my tip of the week. My plant of the week is the Pseudo-Ripsalis ramulosa. Pardon me, Ken. It's a new plant to me. It's a new plant, ramulosa.
It's fun to learn.
Anyway,
new
it's a fun thing.
names.
It's like a big orchid cactus, and it's got little white berries on it, and it is basically the called the mistletoe plant, mistletoe cactus. Anyway, that's my tip and plant.
Awesome. I also have a tip and a plant, and my tip of the week is that it's time now to start thinking about putting down fertilizer on your lawn. And when you do your early fertilizing, it's typically a quick release fertilizer, something that it will release quickly as the lawns are very hungry at this time of year. Generally, you time that to just after you start up your irrigation so you can water it in. But remember, don't run your irrigation yet. You just run it once or twice to water it in, and then it's good for a while. And now my plant of the week was the Mascaris, which is the grape hyacinths. They're available in all different colors, from pinks to blues to purples, and I've got even little fuzzy ones that look like little bottle brushes. Very cool plant, but I just love them, and they're beautiful and early blooming bulb, and lovely. There you go. That's my tips and plants for this week. Remember to check growercoach.com and Grower Coach on YouTube.
And do that, folks, because it's a great YouTube channel. I've got a Shigo quote of the week before we leave. A brick will float if you put a board under it. Just think what you can do if you have the right connections. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Makes you think.
Yeah, and so there we go. We're going to say goodbye to you. We'll see you next week on another garden show, Saturday morning with Ken Salvail and Don Burnett.